Maybe it's a look of desperation. I don't know.
You should be a teacher.
That's right.
Very valuable, come on.
I hate to break up the reunion. Everyone's having a good moment to catch up. Welcome, everyone, to Greenville and the Governor's School with this wonderful spring weather. It's a great time to be here. We'll give the president credit for that, or maybe
That's
actually. Yeah. There's a couple of housekeeping reminders. First of all, as you know, our meetings are broadcast online. We've been doing that for a while in compliance with state law, even before the law required it. Now it's required that they be recorded. So everything you do and say will be recorded for posterity, just as a FYI. Yeah, so that is why we seated the two of you away from each other.
Well, you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, that can be real dangerous in this case, particularly since most of us pay, Amanda to be here. Exactly. A couple of things on the board. If you hadn't, I think I sent out a notice, or Cedric did, that Joanne Anderson has resigned from the board, just I think time-wise. She wanted you all to know how much she enjoyed being part of this group and the board, and she certainly brought a lot to the board. Her appointment was one from the Education Oversight Committee, so they will be appointing hopefully someone else to fill that seat. And then I think you probably know as well, Maria Fabrizio has resigned. Again, just a time factor. Maria's been on the board at least 10 years. She's been here as long as I have. And it's got a young family and a lot going on. And she was an alumna of the school. We've got another one, fortunately, on our board now with Carly. But anyway, so she's no longer on the board, so those two seats are open, so that everyone knows that. I want to welcome Ashley Smith, who's with us today, and Ashley is our Cedric's new executive assistant as well as our secretary for the board, and we are thrilled to have her on board. Anything we should know about you, Ashley, to put you on the spot?
I am very happy to be here.
You need to tell them a little bit. I had the pleasure of being able to spend a little time with her last week, and so she's got some interesting background.
Got a great some family from.
Family is from this area. I was raised in Chicago. I've been here since 2007 with my 3 children. I was in the Army, so when I finished with the Army, I moved back to Greenville so my family could my children could be with my family. I've graduated from Anderson University in 2019 with my bachelor's in organizational leadership. I've been in the federal sector for about 15 years, so they're just very thankful.
Great. Yeah, that's right. We're glad to have you. We'll try not to do anything too ordinary today. But we know you have a taxing enough job taking care of the president. So.
I don't want to go on record.
Yeah, that's right. We're being recorded, so yeah, you don't want to put any of that on the record. Okay, I think we've handled all of the housekeeping items this morning. You have the minutes in your packet. If there is a motion to approve the minutes, I'll take that. Dr. Jaworski and Ms. Lee seconded that. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. That motion carries. That's easy enough. Got that done. School has started, and our president has a lot to report, right?
I do.
Good. We'll have to get to it.
Thank you, Mr. Prosser. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to campus. We are excited to be here today and to tell you a little bit about what's going on. Thank you for loading that report for me, Richard. You got the clicker right there. Got the clicker right here. Okay, semester's off to a great start, but just to back up a bit from our last board meeting, I'd like to give you a little bit of a few of our highlights from the summer. Once again, we enrolled students from all over the state, in line with previous years where we normally hit about 30 counties over the course of the summer. We had 35 counties represented in our summer programs this time around. And again, we're very pleased to have had students transition from one summer program to the next age-appropriate summer program, and some going from the summer program into the high school. And oftentimes, some students, the summer program is their only governor's school experience, and that is okay, but still, to see those making the transition into the next program, into the high school, that's really good for us and showing that level of continuity in the faith that they have, excuse me, the faith that they have in the governor's school experience. So our summer programs are doing exactly what we intend for them to do, and it's been a good experience for those students. Away from the campus, our outreach is still in the far corners of South Carolina. Our Coastal Creatives program on the campus of Horry Georgetown Technical College continues to grow. We're really pleased to keep that relationship going with the administrative team on that campus. And our Summer Spark program, it was offered in 6 counties throughout the state this summer, in Greenville, Cherokee, Edgefield, Sumter, Clarendon, and Abbeville counties. So summer was outstanding and very well attended throughout the state for the governor's school. We started the semester with our professional development days on July 29th. Just let that sink
Wow.
in, July.
That was a year ago, wasn't it?
I'm old enough to remember starting school after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, and for the majority of my career, starting school late in August. But as things have transitioned for our state, more and more school districts, not just the governor's school, are shifting to that modified year-round calendar. But we started on July 29th with our professional development days. And I'm pleased to report that people were excited to come back in full force and work together in preparing for the fall semester. We had our required shared focus trainings, as well as the 2 unencumbered days that the General Assembly has proposed for teachers. And then we turned right around and welcomed 115 new govies onto the campus to start the fall semester. I shared this slide so that you can really see what our newly renovated gymnasium looks like on the campus. Not that we're trying to, but this really looks more like a traditional school with the bleachers and all the sporting markings on the floor. But this will now be our primary location for our community meetings and our all-campus gatherings. And the students are really excited to be in that space. They're excited to be in that space when we have these community meetings, and as we finish a few more things with the HVAC, we'll be in there a lot more. But it's a great space, and again, this was newly renovated because of the past allocations by the General Assembly in recent years. Also, and I mentioned this in my written report, and I believe you have a few of these souvenirs in front of you. Our Many Paths, One Community Govy Unity theme continues. This really is a part of who we are. It's become a real part of the culture of the campus. So we provided a gift to all of the students at the first community meeting this year, along with a geocaching exercise so that they will learn how to operate the campus. But this device is symbolic of our school theme and the many paths from which our students come from, as well as the diverse paths that they choose beyond the walls of the governor's school, because often, students come here and they decide, yes, I do want to be a household name in the arts, and that's their focus for the rest of their lives, and they do that. And others decide, well, maybe I love the arts, but not that much. This has been very good for me in my high school years, and they go on into other fields of study and other professions, but we do believe, and we know that the data reflects that they are successful because of the experience that they have on our campus. So we'll have many more of these types of exercises over the course of the year where they will use this device in both navigating the land around them, the physical land, but also navigating their lives and charting their paths to the future. So we put our heads together and came up with this during our leadership meeting prior to the start of the semester. And I wish you could have been there to see the excitement on the students' faces and how they verbally communicated that excitement when they got these. So if you'd like, we'll come up with a little exercise for board members to participate. But this was certainly one of the most valuable experiences we had starting the semester with our students. They really enjoy it. Something else I would like to lift up that I mentioned in the written report is our second annual community reception starting the fall semester. As you may recall, last year we launched the fall semester with a community reception in Colleton County at the South Carolina Artisan Center. This year we launched the fall semester with a community reception on the campus of USC Aiken at the invitation of the provost and Govey parent, Dr. Philip Bridgman. It's, again, a small gathering of local families, alumni, and we had a presentation by Lauren Vaughn, who is one of our music faculty members and an alumna of the campus, and her husband Jeff Vaughn, who teaches in outreach, followed by a modern contemporary dance lecture demonstration. So it was very effective in not only celebrating us in a different part of the state, but also from a recruitment standpoint, as well as just goodwill in showcasing what we do on the campus. And I'm just so pleased that Dr. Bridgman offered that site to us because he's the provost, and it gives us another connection to a state agency in South Carolina, but also he's a very happy Govey parent because his son came here as a senior music student, but also excelled as a student here and earned a scholarship to the University of South Carolina in jazz studies. So there are a lot of wins to be chalked up to this relationship with the Bridgman family, but also more in the future with USC Aiken, that part of the state, and just families overall. We haven't quite set our sight on where we will do the next community reception in the 26-27 school year, but we want to make this an annual event, just in communicating more and getting out into the state as much as we can to celebrate the work of the Governor's School. I touched on this in our June board meeting, but I'm sharing this particular map just so we can see the growth of outreach over time. Again, for the second consecutive year, we've impacted all 46 counties of the state. And it just shows that we have been able to continually form relationships with educators and administrators and community organizations, and now even more so after school providers. More individuals and more organizations and more districts are really willing to partner and have ongoing relationships with us. Our outreach has really yielded major dividends on how we're viewed throughout the state. People recognize that we are indeed a good partner to help their students excel, even if an outreach experience is the only experience for a student in a given district. So two of our most significant natural byproducts of outreach are more outreach and also enrollment. So it's good to see that this is working hand in hand with our recruitment initiatives as well. So we, as Ms. Baker says, want to be everywhere where learning occurs in our state. And initially, we thought we could only do outreach in a particular school or a particular school district, but we've got partnerships forming in the exploratory level right now with pre-service teachers who will become teachers in the state. So we've got a partnership with Call Me Mr. program at Clemson University, as well as with the pre-service teachers in the Department of Ed at the University of South Carolina, which we know they will likely be some of the first teachers hired in the state when they graduate because of those thriving teacher ed programs on those campuses. So that's good for us, but it's also good for the students that they will be working with moving forward. And partnerships and collaboration really is what makes students more successful because of what we're able to do for them. So I'm just pleased to see what we've been able to grow with our outreach program and the work that we're doing hand in hand with the admissions department to make sure that no student is not touched in our state. We've done quite well this year and ongoing. As always, you know, this is budget time, and Ms. Beam is going to give you a little bit more detail in this particular slide, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention with an understanding that inflation and all that is going on in the world of budgeting and purchasing, and it's affecting us to the extent that much of what we may request from the General Assembly oftentimes has to be expanded when they break them into phases. In particular, I want you to look at that second bullet point. The gallery and flexible instructional space is now a bit more than we intended it to be from last year's budget request because of the inflation. If any of you have done any renovations on your home, or maybe you're fortunate enough to build a new home in the past year, it's not at the level that it was initially presented to you as the home builder. So we will be going back with an increased amount for the second phase of the gallery that we hope to get to the front of campus, as well as our focus on campus access and security that we've continually upgraded, and upgraded quite well. I mean, I certainly feel very secure on the campus, but we want to continue moving forward with what's necessary to keep our students safe and to keep all of our employees safe.
What did we have in the budget for that last year?
Originally it was $4 million.
Okay, I was thinking 4, wow.
Originally it was 4.
And the year we're talking about, just to be clear for everybody, what year?
This,
FY '27?
correct, this
Okay.
FY '27.
I just want to make sure.
Okay. Did the scope also change, or is that simply to take into, or we didn't have a full estimate yet, or what?
The scope did change.
The
It
scope
went
did,
up.
okay, I thought, yeah.
So this now matches the scope.
Okay, all right.
And with the positions with the $0, there was not a lot of clarity between the two chambers in how positions would be funded for all state agencies. And at the final hours, some of the positions, actually many positions across the state, were retracted, where dollars were granted but positions were not. So they hope to do some corrective actions in allowing us to expand our personnel even when we were making conversions from temporary positions into full-time positions moving forward. We expect those to be granted this time around because of all the conversations that agency heads and governing bodies have had with the General Assembly on how this has affected them and making sure that they can carry out the business of other agencies. So we expect to have another positive year with our budget requests with the General Assembly. Again, I always stress that we have great support on both sides of the aisle because of the work that we do all over the state. So we expect all things to be positive for us moving forward. Just really pleased to get that part of our academic year going, because it's always a fun time to meet with the legislators and tell them about the great work that's going on our campus. Although we've had a number of special guests recently on the campus, I did want to highlight this one because this is incredibly important for us. Bill Whitmire, the chair of the House Ways and Means Public Education Subcommittee, comes to campus. I've been inviting him to visit with us for the past 10 years. And he lives right up the road, but of course with his position, his schedule is quite full. But he and his wife did come and visit with us, and it was good for him to see the return on the investment that the General Assembly has had in working with our campus. And I know you don't want to see my picture up there, but I think it was important to lift this particular occasion up because he's very supportive of us, and as a former teacher and his wife's a former principal, they really were able to talk the talk of education as they took the tour and met with students and met with employees, and just to see the work of what they've invested in our campus, because he's been very supportive of us over the years. So I'm just happy to see him finally visit with us. One of the other special visitors, I might add, Dr. Dwayne Gatson from the Department of Education came to visit when he was in town at the recommendation of Dr. Weaver's office. And he's very eager to work with us in making sure that more students throughout the state know about the work that we do on our campus as well as the other two government schools. He has a degree in education as well as a military veteran, so very much invested in public education in our state. So I'm pleased to be able to have these visitors that can help us make more of an impact on students visit with us. Looking ahead, we've got a lot on our plate for this year, and I hope you're as excited as I am about what we will undertake this year. Of course, strategic planning is on our agenda, and we'll dig into that at the appropriate time, but we are working very diligently to make sure that we reach and continue to reach maximum enrollment as we did this year. We've talked about the challenges of males in the arts and males in education and males in higher education, and it's not a problem that's unique to the governor's school, but we've been quite creative in making sure that we can still max out enrollment with what we have. And we'll continue to examine that and continue to be creative as we have brought film into the fold as our sixth art area. But we're doing well, and now that we've got a new director of admissions working with us, and that team is really excited, we will continue to work to make sure that we hit that target every year. Capital projects will be not breaking ground, but knocking some things down and doing the renovations with the dining hall within the next 30 days. Really excited. Hats off to Ms. Beam for being able to juggle all of that work and making sure that gets done. And then on the heels of that, we'll get into the residence hall and hopefully the gallery and instructional space once that is fully funded through the second phase. We hope that doesn't go to a third and fourth phase because of the inflation, but we expect that to have a huge positive impact on the campus once that is done at the front of campus. The collaborative projects and programming, musical theater is very much a part of who we are now as a campus, and we will have a big announcement on that very soon, and we hope that you all will be able to attend this very exciting announcement that I can't make right now because we're being recorded. We're still working on the rights for this particular production, but it will be huge for the governor's school. And as you all know, because I think everyone in here took the tour last March, we've got to calculate how we can get a sound stage for our film program. And that will be way down the line with a capital request through the General Assembly because of the number of capital projects that we already have in line. So we've got to be creative in making sure that we take care of film. So that'll be major in our strategic planning process and making sure that we can accommodate them in the same manner that we've accommodated all of our original art areas. And finally, our focus on financial support through meal plan assistance, that is not going away because of the economy and because of just the state of affairs with so many families in our state. We have to continue to support them because that is a part of being a public school. You know, we teach who South Carolina gives to us, and we cannot discriminate because of inability for a family to be able to pay that meal plan. So we'll again be creative as we have been in the past. And hats off to the foundation for being as creative as they have been in working with us for so many years. Yes, ma'am.
Currently, what is that cost per student?
$3,900 annually. Am I correct with that, Ms. Beam?
4,000.
$4,000.
She slid one in.
Yeah. She had it 100. Where's that extra 100 going? You got a program for that?
You'll soon see.
Yeah. but we've seen, you know, as much inflation, obviously, in food cost as well, so,
Right.
you know, it's
It's a challenge.
a challenge, yeah.
But as I said, we've been creative and we'll continue to focus on that and making it work so that we can allow as many students to take advantage of this opportunity as possible.
One thing that was interesting, Cedric and I were discussing this morning, the male-female breakdown and that challenge that we're all, you know, aware of, and I was asking him which programs were the most balanced or imbalanced, and actually film and creative writing are relatively balanced in terms of the male-female ratio, and certainly film has helped recruit some new boys into the fold, but many of our other programs like music and dance are, you know, predominantly female. So, and for the newer board members, that has real implications on the residence halls because, you know, since we're a residential high school, having that mix, that's always a factor and is going to be a factor in the renovation that we're going to have to do in the residence halls to, you know, look at accommodating everyone and all of the programs.
So does the renovation then take into consideration the ability to flex?
That is our intent.
Okay,
Yes.
so that if we're,
They're doing conceptual planning, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what we were talking about. They're doing conceptual planning
Yeah.
that would allow us to have some flex space that
Right.
would both provide some housing during renovation, because it's
Mm.
going to have to be phased. We can't, you know, accommodate this, because remember, we have students here during the summer as well.
right,
We can't just suspend our summer program because that's our pipeline for new students. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of coordination to make that happen.
mhm,
But,
With every opportunity for renovation or construction, flex space is really important
Mm, yeah.
because you never know what may happen in any given semester or even a 9-week block where you have to make a shift. And our ongoing space study of finding spaces that we can collaborate in rather than dedicated space for a given unit, that's been really helpful. We're in a very different place when it comes to sharing space, and that's worked well for us. I normally don't share images on this particular slide. I want you to come to our performances and events all the time, but these slides are from the existing art show in the gallery right now. This is Winston Wingo, which the name may ring a bell for some of you who have been with us for a while. He's got a piece of artwork, a sculpture on the back of campus, and he was one of the original supporters of our VA department. He's a historic, world-renowned sculptor from South Carolina. I've known of him for years from my affiliation with Claflin University, and I don't recall the date of his artist talk, but he's quite a guy. And if you have the opportunity today, please stop by and view the sculpture that he has in there. But even if you aren't able to visit today, this is a name that we all should know because of his connections to the entire state as well as to the founding of the school. So I
How
wanted to just,
long is this up?
the whole month of October? Yes, it goes into October. So
Okay.
we got some time. But again, that link, we've adjusted our performance and event calendar on the website, but of course, it's always very active, and there's Ms. Vander over there in the corner. She's working well to develop a upgraded calendar process for the campus that will be a bit more clear, add a bit more clarity to what we have, the activity on the campus. And finally, I've got a video that we're going to pull this down to share a video with you. Over the past school year, the communications team has been building a library of video assets. They're capturing both student and alumni testimonials, reflecting the true Govey experience, because they're talking to students and talking to alumni about what the governor's school, how it has impacted their life. And we've produced a new admissions video designed to resonate with today's students and with today's families. because these are very authentic experiences that we are communicating. And this video will launch as a part of our admissions campaign this week, so it hasn't gone out yet. But we wanted to share this with you today because it really speaks to today's student. And they called this, It All Starts Here. Because it all does start right here.
I think it's a very unique experience to be in a place where you have 14, 15 other people in the room with you that are as passionate about something as you are.
It's really fun, and it was really formative in my dance experience.
You're juggling academics, arts, rehearsals, performances. What I learned at the governor's school was how to always be disciplined.
It has given me the chance to grow as a person more than I ever thought was possible.
The types of people that you see here actually enjoy what they do and are serious about what they do and are serious about this art form.
It's all about the growth. It's all about trying new things. It's all about being open to learning new things.
It really inspired me to do more than I thought I was capable of.
You get a lot of individual training, one-on-one advice.
All of my classmates and all of my teachers are so encouraging, and it's such an amazing environment.
It has definitely taught me that art is something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I love to do rather than something that I like to do.
It deconstructed a lot of what I thought I knew about myself as an artist.
It gave me the training I needed to become the teacher that I am today. It gave me the human skills that I convey to my students today of just become the best version of you that you can be.
I do not think I would be where I'm at today without the governor's school. It all started here.
It's a true snapshot of any day on the campus. This isn't the day that we dressed up and put on our Sunday best and we all behaved. We came to work, and this is what happens on any given day. And that is why when we have parents or visitors come to campus, I often tell them, now that you've heard me speak, go out and stop someone on the campus and find out if I'm telling the truth about this governor's school experience. And I do believe you'll also find out that this really is a model for public education. Everything that we present actually happens. And that's also why when we go to the House or to the Senate or to the governor's office, I say, please come at any time. Not just on a particular day. I want you to see us as we are, because it's so special in the way that we do things and the way that we impact students. So that's why this type of video resonates with students, because it's for real. It's a real snapshot of the day-to-day operations of the school. So thank you to the communications team for getting that together, and for the admissions team for getting it out there. And with that, I will pause and answer any questions you may have about anything I presented or did not present.
Questions for Dr. Adderley?
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed in reading the statewide reach that you've had this year, there were a number of events in York County, but I was not aware of them. Is there a way that we can find out what's occurring in our given district or area?
Yes. We would have to make sure that every individual who is sponsoring an event communicates with each of you who aren't in Greenville what's happening. Yeah.
I don't mean to burden you.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're working on various ways to communicate better right now. So that's something that.
I would love to have been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea. You know, I've had that same thought in the past as well. And, you know, there are a number of us who represent a particular congressional district, you know, which multiple counties, but it would be nice to know if something's going on around us.
We can absolutely consolidate schedules and communicate out.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for suggesting that. Yeah.
Other thoughts, questions? Anything else? All right.
Thank you
Thank
all
you,
for your
Dr.
continued
Adams.
support.
All right. Ms. Beam's gonna tell us what she's gonna do with that extra $100 for each student.
Well, since y'all voted on it last August, we've been taking it in. Thank you, Richard, I appreciate it. If you will, in your book or wherever, if you're looking online or on the book, the finance attachment 1 is our finance report. I am certainly not going to read that to you. I know you have read it before you came, but a couple of things I do want to highlight and actually just celebrate. We'll start with the facilities team. A couple things that they were able to do. They've changed out so far 140 of our light fixtures, changing them all to LED, trying very hard to, you know, get some old stuff done, upgrade stuff. Another thing they did was change out all of the hot water heaters in our residence life apartments. And while $31,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money to people, that is a lot of money right now that we saved in labor because our facilities team is trained and ready to do that kind of thing. So we were very excited that they were able to do the labor on that. So the only cost then the school had was actually the new hot water heaters that were, you know, very, very old at the time. We do have a new employee in facilities. His name is David Calden. David comes to us. He originally worked for the state. He actually worked for the South Carolina Confederate Museum for several years, went to University of Georgia, and we actually recruited him from there. David is working, he has lots of background in maintenance and certainly in school maintenance now as well. He is working a second shift, and the main reason I want to celebrate not only David, but that department is, for the first time in the history of the school, we now have coverage both second shift and every single weekend. That's never happened before. It is making a huge difference to the rest of the staff that doesn't have to come in on the weekend because something broke or something needs to be just checked. So we're so excited. Ms. Doctor will tell you it has taken us about 18 months to get there. We have one more position to fill, but we were very, very careful in who we selected so that we did get qualified people that can change a hot water heater or, you know, work in an HVAC unit or something. So we're really, really excited about that team right now and what they're able to provide.
And you should let them know how appreciative we are, because that's not the only example. I mean, we've added some really competent folks over the last year or two, so we appreciate that. And they've been able to do some things on the preventative maintenance side and some essential work for a 5-year-old campus. So.
Absolutely, and I can assure you that all of them are told at their first day by me that there was a time that I was embarrassed to come in here because I knew the chairman was going to say, I don't want to hear that sound again. I can't hear myself thinking here. So we like I say, we've been able to upgrade some equipment but get some really good qualified employees. So we're so excited to have that staff. Finance has been really, really busy. It's that time of year that you close out the old year, you open and close summer, all in the, seems like the blink of an eye, and then start the new year. One thing I did want to sort of bring to your attention is over the summer we had 25% of our students on financial assistance, and then 37% this year. That is just about the exact same number of the past 3 years. However, the amount is much, much higher. We had 441,000, which we needed to make up, and we cannot praise, beg, plead, thank the foundation enough for coming through with $250,000 for that for us. That is a hard ask for them. People don't get excited to write a $4,000 check for somebody's meal. They get excited to buy a camera. They get excited to purchase something, to see something. Nobody really gets excited to write a $4,000 check for a student for 1 year. So that is a tough sell for them, and we can't say enough how much that means to the school, their hard work. We're always looking for grants for that, but you know, those are hard to come by as well. The only other new thing in finance, we have a new person that just started 2 weeks ago. Her name is Brittany Blevins. Hope you'll get to know her. She will be working travel. She's going to be working the department budgets and stuff. Brittany comes to us from Murrells Inlet. She graduated from Clemson, went back home for a little while, worked in a local bank there, then came to Furman, And we actually were able to take her from Furman. So we're really excited of the financial background that she brings and what she can bring to the team too. Information technology, you will see, and we're going to talk in just a few minutes about the budget. Their big thing on the horizon is a $250,000 ask this year for the legislature for access. And you say student access or access controls, and what does that really mean? Well, I put what that really mean in your notes. I'm not going to sit here and read how many doors that is and how many readers that is and that kind of thing, but that is a massive program for that whole department to do. That basically we will take every door, every way we get in and out of the doors and redo that. It's old, the technology is old, it's to one vendor only. We need to get in the 21st century with some technology with that. So, but what I do have to stop right now, and you see Richard Jones in here every week. We cannot do this meeting without Richard. We just cannot. So thank you, Richard. But he took the initiative to find a grant that honestly was sort of buried to us, and has helped us get at least in the run-in for a grant with the state for not only the part of this access control, but as well as all new dark door hardware, because that's where you sort of need to start, is the new door locks first, as well as the window coverings, in the event of some sort of emergency. You hope you never have that active shooter event, but you do have to drill for it. So anyway, it's 3 different levels. So a huge shout out to Richard and his team for working tirelessly to get that grant in on a very short time. And hopefully we'll see some of that very soon. Production has been busy as always. You think, well, it's the summer, there's not as much. They are still just as busy in the summer. But each year I tell you about, 1 or 2 of the people go to the tutu school, and I show you those pictures. So today I decided not to do pictures because we sent almost half our staff this year to the school to learn. And they came back with some incredible, what I would say is patterns, models. We were the highest school there of attendees. We're the only school there that finished every single project that we started. And some of those are now out when we're eating lunch, are out there. So, it's one thing to show a picture of it, it's another thing to kind of touch it, feel it, and see. And some of them are they're all phenomenal. Some of them are male, some are female. Again, they came back super excited. So once again, thanks to the Professional Development Committee for making sure that, some of that got funded. Thanks to Sarah and her department for making sure she saved some of her budget for the rest of the people to go. So a huge, like I say, shout out to them. One of the things they did too, Sophie Sons is the costume coordinator. So she held a hand sewing workshop. And this was for people in the department that maybe had a little bit of sewing background, no sewing background, maybe you've never even threaded a needle. So basically on the slideshow is what she did. How do you sew on a button? What is this stitch? What is that? So in the middle of a production, anybody on that team can now do a quick repair. They now know how to sew on a button, sew on a clasp or whatever that is. If she says, hey, I need a ladder stitch real quick, they've done it. So anyway, a huge shout out again to Sophie for her foresight of doing that. So in the middle of a performance, there's plenty of hands on deck that can, take care of that rip or whatever it is. One more thing as far as production, and I think Richard's going to help me here. The thing they did this summer that was also really exciting, I know for both drama and film especially, they took the entire costume department, and not only did they categorize it, they did it by 1990s, by red dress, by, so you can filter. So instead of the students and the teachers having to come spend what could be hours, Richard, if you can go to the one that has 12 on it, that'd probably be the easiest. And I think it's down just a little bit. Outerwear, let's look at outerwear. But anyway, what it allows the person to do is literally see what's down there. what size is it? What color is it? Is that what I'm thinking I want? Is that available? Where you used to have to literally go down to the production department and thumb through, well, you know, not even all the black were together. So it was a huge, huge undertaking this summer. And I think that both, certainly anybody that needs to use costumes, but certainly, and music to some degree, but certainly film and drama are very, very excited about it. So just wanted to, thanks Richard, we can close that one now. But just certainly wanted to give them credit for the hard work that they did this summer. And we're going to go back to the PowerPoint now. We are so excited to be able to announce to you that we have a new chief of police. If you remember, I had announced in June that Tammy Hubert had retired after about 16 years here. Robert Arnold has been here 12 years. We went through a full and complete interview process. We did a huge statewide search for, you know, because it was very, very important that they be current South Carolina police officers, not North Carolina or Alabama. So anyway, we did do a full statewide search. There was no doubt in anybody's mind on the committee that it was definitely Robert deserved the position. Again, he's been here 12 years. When you can be a police officer at any place 12 years and never have a single complaint, you're doing something right. So we are tickled to death that Robert accepted, even applied, and then accepted the position. He's doing a fabulous job. In the interim, he has been able to identify one security officer that's ready to now. He'll be going to, Tim Delaney will be going to the police academy in about a month, so we'll have an additional police officer, and then we will reclassify Robert's position to another police officer 1. So that will give us more police officers than we've ever had before. So we're very, very excited about that. Basically, that's kind of in a nutshell of the departments that I have the absolute honor to work with every single day. So we're going to sort of move over into the finance, and great minds think alike. Is it obvious we're really proud of the gym and glad it's over? We are super proud. We're glad to put a final stamp on that. And as the year started, as with any year at this school, I have learned something needs to break. So we lost the air conditioner in both the gym and the fitness center just about the time we were cutting the ribbon. So as of today, everything's off. Greenville Mechanical is here. They won the emergency procurement and are putting in a brand new air conditioning system in both the gym and the fitness center, and hope to be finished by the end of next week. So it will truly be completely finished, and you know, it is exciting to see that many students in one place, and it actually feels like a high school now. So again, great minds think alike on that picture. Second thing we want to talk about is, well, before we do that, let's talk just a little bit about, I don't know if I can go backwards. Just a minute, sorry. Well, I'll just leave it there for a minute. The next thing is the capital overview. The gym is finished. That was a $400,000 project. We were able to save just a little bit of money, so we took the savings and upgraded just a little bit more in some of the equipment, so that we can have really incredible presentations and stuff in that space. So really excited about that. The generator project is, it got stuck in spin cycle, and again, I'm sorry that particular slide's up there because that's confusing. The generator project is the one, if y'all remember, we were going to have to rebid it because all of the bids came back well in excess of the $190,000 and way outside of our budget. So we have redone that scope and hope that will go out within the next 2 weeks. The dining hall, again, the only update I have from your report is we are so excited. That bid opening was last Thursday. You probably did not notice at all, but if you notice going out at the front desk, there is a notice to award posted on the front desk that says J. Davis Construction Company will be awarded the solicitation. We have a meeting with them next Friday to sign the contract. The protest period will be over, and provided there's no protest between now and next Friday, we will sign that contract and hope to start within the next 30 days of the dining hall project. So that is we're so excited about that one. I don't know if any of you know anyone from J. Davis Construction. They're a fairly local group. Two of the things that excited us about them was the fact that they had just finished both a fire department and a nursing home. So it's they are very familiar with you live and you eat at the same time and you cannot close. So that alone was very, very exciting to us. They came in within our bid amount, so we're just really, really excited to start work with that company. The residence hall renovation, I'll just go through that briefly. We did have, I had told you that McMillan, Pazin and Smith had been awarded a professional contract to come in, and basically what we asked them to do is two things. First and foremost, give us a functional design. This is what we absolutely have to do to, upgrade it, do the tubs, do the bathrooms, do the carpet, the paint, the very basics. And then we said, and then what if? Let's have an aspirational design. So the first one, the true functional design came in at 9.2. If you remember, we have 10. The aspirational, because we have big dreams, came in at 22 million. So next step is they will come back and they will take the two and we'll say, okay, this can be done. But it's about all you can say is bless their heart, because the questions that they ask is, how long can you be shut down? Can we do it over the summer? On and on and on. And all of that was no, and no. So it's going to take, like was mentioned earlier, some really creative thinking and opportunities. So we needed some sort of baseline to even start the conversation. So we now have the baseline. We have a draft, so we can take that and improve on that, and see how much more flex space we can get out of the small amount of land that we have to work with. So that's where we are on that one. We will definitely keep you posted for next stage there. Next thing is the audit review. We are required by law. Sorry, Richard. I think you maybe both doing it. It's my fault. Totally my fault.
Was that the conceptual of the residence hall that popped up there? Just a second.
That's the gallery.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As you remember, it is called audit by the State Auditor's Office. I can tell you that Ms. McDaniel and I will argue to the day we're leave this earth that we do not get an audit. An audit is a very, very prescriptive thing where you take, if you have 100 different checks, then you test 10 of them. A state review audit is, if you'll see the very first word, haphazardly select journal entries or whatever it is we're selecting. So there's not a number, there's not a, and again, I've spent many, many hours with both the Auditor's Office, Shared Services, and State Administration. This year we received 2 what they call findings. Typically in an audit, that's really not good. So one of the things you're able to do is to be able to say, I want to challenge the findings. Obviously we did. The first finding was during our inspection we observed a journal entry, document number, you can see all that, I won't read it all to you. Basically it was created with the wrong cost center. What happens here is, first of all, if for those of you that have been here a while, this past year was the first year that we had drilled down and sent every department their own budget. So it was really important to us in finance to track that by department. We had one that the 2 departments got together and said, no, that really should come out of that. We all agreed, so we asked the state to make a journal entry, change the department. Unfortunately, they not only changed the amount, they changed it and put it in the wrong one. It's okay, even if nothing had ever been caught, it wouldn't have mattered because it didn't affect the bottom line at all. It was an internal tracking that we were doing. Our problem is we can't do a journal entry, we can't see a journal entry, and all we can ever get is we completed the journal entry. So we had no way of knowing. So the only thing we could do was do the best we could, do the best we could with a school response of, we admit that certainly there was an error, but we had there's nothing we could have done. There's nothing we could have seen to prevent it. There's nothing we could have done to correct it. And we have no access to enter or correct it. So that's the best I can answer. It's still, if you're a finance officer, that's the last thing you want to see. But again, it's the answer was, you know, this is just for your board only. But it is also on the website. So, you know, it is for anybody that wants to see. The other haphazard selection was 10 of our assets were picked. We have 207 on the list. And what happened on that particular one is we sent it in, hey, we're gonna purchase this and it's gonna be an asset. The shared services assigns the asset number. We don't have any authority to do that or access to do that. Unfortunately, we did not know until it came in that there was gonna be some labor involved. So once we got the invoice, we sent another email back and said, hey, we've got some freight and labor. We need to recapitalize this. It didn't get done in the correct amount. Again, not that we can see. So that was another one. So again, the best we can say is we did what we should have done. We caught it. We informed the right people, and it was corrected before the end of the year. But that's all we can do. We can't
Betsy,
correct it.
Is there any possibility to get the state to be able to share that with you and get approval from you? That would seem like a pretty logical.
It seemed
step.
logical to me as well, but because we pay for shared services, we're not allowed to do that. That's part of the contract with shared services that we do.
So we have no I mean, I can understand if we're having them make the journal entries, maybe we can't make that. We have no transparency on the journal entries?
None.
But what about the account before and after the journal entry? We review that, right?
Right, which is how we saw it and then sent the email back and
Right.
said, hey, it's wrong.
So the timing may be off, but if they're doing a review of the account that was supposed to have a journal entry applied to it, they should catch it in the review.
We can only see it after
the timing might be off, though,
right,
for sure.
And we can't see the actual journal entry. We
Right.
can see the total.
You can-
and did it change from last
So
month?
you have to
Right.
back into it, yeah, basically,
Right.
or, yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have to be really looking for it to see, even be able to notice it though.
Right.
So,
I did ask, how can we, help us in finance not to be here next year? What can we do? What if there's 30 next year? I mean, we don't have that many journal entries, but we could. And what the auditors told us was that as long as we catch it before they do, it will not be our finding. And I said, okay, so we have a new system where anything that we're asking somebody else to do on our behalf, then we follow up and
We've got
get
too
an
much time
email copy of it.
Yeah, really.
looking at stuff.
So,
And so I did have that one edit on page 23. Did you see?
yes,
Okay.
yes, the word cart was left off.
Okay.
Do they extrapolate these findings to the entire population? I think you said it was 200 or so assets, 200.
No, it's a review.
Oh, it's just review.
Again, that was one of the meetings that I asked, because in a financial world, in an audit, it's very strict, so you're thinking, okay, and I'm like, okay, I think our numbers are off, because our numbers are very, very small, but if you're doing it based on shared services number, then it should be a much higher review. And it was very clear it's not an audit, it's a review. So again, there certainly was no money missing or anything like that, but it's just from a finance point of view that you just never want to see a finding if you can help it.
Right.
I don't know how we would avoid it, but in the future, we've made lots of strides to change how we do our process to monitor anything that we send, then we see the back end result. So again, this is for your information and any correction that you feel you need to make. I'm going to give you the draft expense report, and again, from a finance point of view, the last thing you want to do is hand a board member a draft report. The end of the year was June, as y'all know. However, the state does not finish the year, the state's year is not finished yet. They are still doing all of their final reports. I checked as late as this morning. It's still not posted. The year-end report or the first 2 months are still not posted in our account. Again, not something, everything's sort of been wiped clean. Nobody, and not just me, nobody can see it right now. So last year we literally got it by a day for the board meeting. So I will send that out just as soon as we get it. This is the best guess that I can give you. This is what I have from Columbia as their best guess as to, and you can see the total expenses looks like we're at about 93% of our budget. That is a little bit low. We had more expenses in June that are not in here, so we're gonna be right at about 101%, just a touch over budget. We knew that going in from the start last year of some equipment that failed, but mainly that 208 that was unbudgeted on the right-hand side. But according to the state right now, it's 93%, but I'm telling you that's just a little bit lofty. It's going to be just a little, not quite as good as that looks, but my best guess is about 101%. We were just a touch over budget. So happy to answer anything about the audit, anything about the finances. Just as soon as they are opened up, I will get those to you. Final thing we need
if
to
we're
do is-
if we're over our budget, our allotted funds, it just comes out of what we've been able to save over
It is,
accumulated
it is.
surplus.
It is. And we had literally earmarked that 208 to come out of the savings just so that it wouldn't hit the budget so hard. So it was not unexpected. Maybe not planned, but not unexpected. This is what is in your board packet, and this is what requires a vote today. This is what will be taken to the state legislature, to the governor's office, usually the month of September. We have not gotten a date yet. And then usually to House Ways and Means in January and Senate in February. The other operational expense, Dr. Adderley sort of mentioned that while ago. It is primarily for infrastructure. It also includes the annual step increase. If you remember, we are on the same teacher schedule as Greenville County. Everybody gets a state increase, but Greenville County usually gives their teachers anywhere from a 2 to 3% step increase. So we're required to do the same. We also do the same with faculty and staff. We haven't been able to do it quite at that level yet. That's our goal. This year, faculty and staff got the regular 2% state raise and a 1.5 up to a 2% for performance. So anyway, the number one is truly other operational. It's aging facility and trying to get caught up with some of that. We've done a great job getting older equipment in and out, so we just need to do just a little bit more. The gallery, that is a result of, we sent it in, we had a feasibility study at $4 million. Because it's now been 2 years, we asked the same architectural firm, can you update that? And when they updated it, came to 7.5. So we have the million, so that was actually 7.4 in some odd sense. So that's why we're asking for the 6.5, and we'll have that available for the committee to see. Campus security controls, I mentioned a while ago when we were talking about IT, that is all of your switches and your door access, anywhere to get on campus. That's really a $500,000 project, but we're hoping to get half of that from a grant, and feel like it will look much better and be easier, hopefully, for the state to help us fund if we're doing our due diligence to try to get. If the grant doesn't come through, that will do everything except the residence hall. So it would be part one of, then we'd have to go back for part two. The mental health counselor, as Dr. Adderley said, what the state did last year is they funded a number of positions, but they didn't give you the FTE or the actual position for it. The theory, after we talked to HR numerous occasions, both state and shared services, was the theory was a lot of agencies had positions open that had just been open forever and ever and ever. So the thought process was, well, we'll give them the money and they'll use a position that's open, and everybody will sort of be whole. We didn't have an open position that was not being recruited or currently being filled, so so we are asking for that true FTE, although we do have the money. We're just asking to be able to hire somebody on a full-time basis rather than a temporary basis. It is being recruited, but it is very, very difficult to ask somebody in that capacity, because the first thing you see on the website is temporary, and that you automatically think, I'm not interested in that. So we're trying very hard to get that FTE back. The number 5 is a new film instructor. If you remember, we started the film program with one person. Mr. Human needs some help. He has a temporary position right now, but we need a full-time non-certified teacher for that position. The other, number 6, is 5, both faculty and staff positions. That's 2 regional recruiters. That's in Dr. Burns' area, where that's the last 2. Everybody else has been converted, and that is where the recruiters are going out to every single high school in the state. And you know, there was a time early on where the thought process, well, that's okay because we don't have to have them in the summer. Well, summer is just as important, and Dr. Burns will certainly tell you that now, because of all of the music camps and stuff like that. We need to be going where the students are. So it's become vital to have those positions be full-time, year-round positions. There's a student service assistant. We have that now. When you operate with just the amount of people that you need, it's very hard if somebody's sick. It's very hard if somebody's on vacation. We have to have 10 RLCs, and we have 10 RLCs. But we also have an extra position, which is a student services assistant, so that when one of those resident life coordinators is off, out sick, something like that, there's somebody to step in. So we're asking for that to be converted to a full-time. Production assistant is, we have 2 full-time people that do a phenomenal job. Y'all have seen what all they do. That's just not sustainable anymore for the amount of hours that they're working. So it's just adding another position down there. And then finally, the last one is another full-time non-certified film teacher. We have one right now. She is in the position now, but she is considered temporary. So we want to convert that position to full-time. Happy to go in any kind of detail need to know, but those are the actual numbers. I think the most important thing you need to know from number 4, 5, and 6 is I met with both state HR, state human services, and shared services, human services, shared services budget, and state budget last week. And what we have to do is show them all of the positions that we're asking for, any personnel positions, and they literally have to approve it and nod to say that they will, you know, send it on to the state. There were very few questions on any of them, and they did. I asked before I hung up, I said, I have a board meeting this week, and it needs to go out. Can we say, like we've always said at the end of our budget request, that both state HR and shared services HR have reviewed and supported, and they said yes. So they have been reviewed, they have been supported. I can't use the word approved, but they have been reviewed and supported. So, any questions about budget at all?
I have one question, Betsy, about number 7. That seems, where is that? Well, what year is this, first of all, am I looking at on this budget?
Okay,
what year is this for?
This year we're looking for we will go for 26, 27.
Okay, so this is 26,
Yes,
27,
yes.
got it. Okay, so that number seems low.
The number
Of the number 7, the arts grant.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I left out number 7.
Yeah.
So that's no wonder. That is salary only for 3
Oh,
positions.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What we and I apologize. Thank you. I apologize. I missed that.
No worries.
The 3 positions. What Dr. Alley and I had talked about was, they used to be on a grant. Now a federal grant. Now they're on a grant with Arts Commission. at any time, grants can go away, so we need to be a little bit more proactive and at least get it on the list to the legislature that, hey, we've got a amazing program up here with people on a grant. So we don't believe that the grant will go away, but it could, because you're talking about another whole year from now. So we just wanted to be ready. If the grant doesn't go away, then it's just more money for services, not personnel. So we're asking to bring the personnel to the state. So.
Okay.
Other questions on the budget request?
I
Yep,
have
sir.
one.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 5, the non-certified, is that with benefits included?
It is.
Because I'm thinking that's a lot more than a regular certified teacher.
Yes, what
Okay.
we did the Greenville schedule. We did somebody with a master's degree and 5 years experience.
Oh, master's with 5,
Mm-hmm.
but even non-certified.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And that's typically the non-certified is because it's the arts, kind of the special.
Right, with our final
areas that we-
legislation,
Right.
traditional academic faculty have to have certificates in the arts
Right.
do not.
And we require 3 to 5 years of teaching experience. 5 years is
Two.
preference.
Okay.
Okay.
And the master's is a preference too in the
Okay.
hiring, so that number is based on
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
parameters.
Great question, though.
Other questions on the budget request? What was the scope, I know part of it was the increase in the gallery and the flex space. What was the scope change?
There wasn't, you said scope, I'll go, and I said scope, yes. The scope itself did not change at all. I've got on the gallery, just in case. We have 3 different options. All of them were within $10,000 of each other. So I just brought option B to C. If you'll see where the kind of orange is, that's right in front of, you see the circle. So that's where we're talking about adding the gallery. This particular one had less of a footprint, but it provided everything we were looking for, which was, part of that was a 3rd floor. It wasn't ideal because this particular one has the gallery on the 2nd floor rather than the 1st. So there's still a lot of work to do, but all 3 options were really, really close to the same. So it was enough that we could say. It literally just went up that much. It was cost of construction.
Really? From 4 to 6.5? Wow. Other questions? All right, so we need to take a vote to approve the request, right? I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Mr. Welling and a second from Reverend Goodwin. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anyone opposed, nay? All right, that carries.
That's all.
Anything else,
Unless
Betsy?
anybody
All
has any
right.
questions. Thank you, Richard.
Did you see my note from like a little before?
We're doing a dance up here today.
Yeah, I've got to read that.
I did see that. Understand, for sure.
I didn't want you to think that was me.
Because you normally make such a scene anyway. Dr. Burns.
All right, well, good morning. It's good to see all of you again. I'm going to just highlight a few things from my report, and I'm going to, with the chairman's permission, yield a bit of my time to introduce our new admissions director, Mr. Altman. So first, we did have, as you've already heard from Dr. Adderley, a robust summer program. We are thrilled to see our summer programs continue to grow, and we are thrilled to see students from so many counties. That speaks to the success of the program. We are in the 2nd year of our revised music curriculum, and that has really taken off. And we're in our 3rd year offering film in our summer programs, which is also very important to us because that feeds into, obviously, the high school film program. And so we are thrilled in those elements. Summer remains a partnership with not only our own faculty, but also with faculty from other areas. We bring in a number of folks, including a number of alumni. And that is important to us because they know our programs. And in turn, if they are currently teaching elsewhere, they are teaching and referencing our programs. And I will use as an example someone who is not an alumnus, but who has been a great partner. We have a teacher in Anderson District 5 who has been a great partner to us in the visual arts. He uses our audition and application requirements for summer programs in his middle school class, and we see a huge number of his students applying each year because he speaks to the program, he talks about it, and that honestly also sets them up for success. So we want to continue those kinds of partnerships around the state and certainly continue those partnerships with our alumni. You'll see highlighted in the report itself, Ms. King provided information about the number of alumni who did return in a variety of roles, faculty, staff, guests. We are thrilled to have those folks back on our campus at all times, and that's part of our partnership with our alumni as a group. We have, for alumni, they do kind of take a pause, and Ms. King spends much of her time over the summer with our summer programs, but we are excited to be looking forward to our Founders Day events in mid-October, where we recognize the history of the school, keeping in mind that our students have a, shall we say, short shelf life, that they are only with us for 2 years. So even what we did 2 years ago is brand new and fresh. And so we want to educate them about those who have come before. I know that you are certainly invited, obviously, any portion of that, because you are a part of that history and that future. And so that's important to us as well. As we think about school opening, I'll just highlight a couple of things. This photo is from our activities fair. One of the things that we do, we had 236 students join us this fall, as Dr. Adderley already mentioned. Of those 236, just shy of half of them are new students. So when you're new, you're thinking about where is my place, what do I do here, how do I connect? We spend those first few weeks of the school year in what we call continued orientation. This is a chance for students to continue to learn about the school. Obviously, there are many things that they don't know. They learn from our honor council. They learn more about what we call Govy 101s, which are the co-curricular programs through student life, and a whole host of other things. They also just learn how to connect and how to be Govies, how to acclimate. We ask that they stay in residence during this period. That lets them start to figure this out and form those peer relationships that do create the community that we are seeking. And so that has been a success for many years, but a success again this year. We had a huge number of student organizations present at our activities fair. These are student-led or student-driven organizations in most cases, where students have said, I see a place where I wish to connect with my peers, and this is how I can do it. So here you have our multicultural club, but you have many others that were represented there. As we went through the start of the school year, a couple of other elements that I would highlight. During our professional development, Ms. Sikowski worked extensively. As you may recall, those of you who have been on the board for a bit, we did change our policies to increase the number of folks who are CPR and first aid certified. That is important in a public school, and that is important because of our school schedule. If we were in a traditional environment where virtually everyone's on campus from 8:30 to 3, you train a small cohort and you know that you always have someone present. Well, when your school day is 8:30 to 10 some days, depending on rehearsals and events, you have students going off campus, you have activities, you have weekends, you want a much larger cohort of folks trained. So we have worked to train all FTEs. Ms. Sikowski has brought much of that training in-house, which is a cost savings to the school, and also allows us to add to that training elements that are school specific. Where are our AEDs located? How do we handle these things? How do we report? Who are the other resources you can draw on to make this a safer campus? The other thing that I would highlight from our PD days is that we did a session on student support where we gave all of our employees, and I do mean all employees, scenarios of students of concern. What would you do? How would you address these concerns? And let them work through that. Keeping in mind, in a non-traditional environment, students find various folks with whom they connect. We actually do a survey of that, and we'll be doing that in our community meeting next week. As they do that, however, everyone needs to know how to respond. What do I do with a student who is distraught, or has a need, or has a family crisis? And those things happen every day in a boarding school. Unfortunately, we've already had a student experience the loss of a close family member. We've had students who have had family illness and tragedy. It's sad to say we're only in the first few weeks of the year, but those things occur and we want everyone to be prepared. That was something, as we surveyed employees afterwards, that they felt was a resounding success because it empowered them to know how to respond, to have thought through it and thought about the peer relationships that they enjoy on campus and the others who can help support the community. We are stressing with students that community support that is part of our community meetings this year. We have developed a series of themes for those meetings. There's recognized things such as special emphasis months. For example, if you don't know, September leading into October will be Hispanic Heritage Month, starting on September 15th. We recognize those so that all students within our student body feel recognized. But it also includes things such as September is also Suicide Prevention Month. So Ms. Prosercourt, our Director of Behavioral Health, is bringing in a speaker next Wednesday to help students know about this important concern, and we're tying other programming into that. As we look ahead, we have Family Weekend, and I know that Dr. Thomas will likely hit on this in her report as well. Family Weekend and our college fair coming up at the end of the month. For those of you who are parents of alumni or alumni yourself, you recognize how important those connections with families, that support, those connections with colleges, and having that opportunity to learn more about being ready for those next steps. Not only is it the many paths students have used to get to us, but the many paths that they will take going from here. And we want them to be prepared and have that support going forward. All right, endless opportunities. I'll transition to a couple of admissions related items. Endless opportunities, and you do have a flyer for endless opportunities in your board book. It looks like this with a blue header. Is our partnership with our two sister governor schools here in South Carolina. We have now done this in, you may recall, we used to call them two paths when there were just two of us. Now there are three. We've rebranded just a bit over the last 5 years. And these are joint presentations that occur around the state. These give folks an opportunity to come hear about all of South Carolina's educational opportunities through the governor's schools. We often see families who have children who are interested. You've got one child who's interested in agriculture and one child who's interested in the arts. Great. Or a child who we met last Sunday. We kicked this off here on our campus on Sunday afternoon. He is an excellent violinist who wants to be a doctor. He has two great opportunities through the governor's schools to think about his options. And so we present these, each school presents, we have a time for questions. They are scattered around the state. You can see the full link on this flyer if you would like to see. So we will be in an area close to you coming soon. So we would love for you to join us. I know I heard Kip talking with Ms. Lee earlier about being in Fort Mill next week. We would love to have you come. We'd also, frankly, love to have you invite others to join us. If you know of someone, whether that is a potential student or an educator who might share this information, please pass it along. We have sent it to educators around the state. We've sent it to folks who have expressed interest. Ms. Vanderver's team has put it on our website. It is out there, but it always helps to have that personal touch. So, as we speak about Ms. Vanderver, we do have great partnerships there with our PR team. You've heard already of the video Dr. Adderley shared. They've been excellent partners with our admissions team in getting the word out. The other thing you have in your board book is an updated flyer that we are using in school settings. Are you an artist at heart? Ms. Vanderver's team has revamped this for this year. This includes information that is new to the school, information that allows families to know about us, and we certainly want to get that out to folks. As you've already heard, our admissions team does try to visit every public middle and high school in South Carolina, which is a daunting task. But we are also happy, as we've shared with you in the past, to visit anywhere else. If you have a community organization, a youth group, or anything else that would be beneficial, we would be more than happy to have someone speak. To that end, we are working on our presidential priority counties. As you know, this has been a core piece of Dr. Adderley's administration over the last 10 years. We identified counties where we had seen less of a response in student attendance, either in our summer programs or the high school. To that work, if you can read those numbers at this distance, good for you. I cannot, so I will not try to read them here from the podium. But you will see that there are still some counties where we're in single digits. That is one of our points of core focus this year, to ensure that we are reaching out in those counties. As we do so, we are using our partnership with the other governor schools. One county that you will see along the Savannah River where we have all struggled is McCormick County. That is John Delahow's home county. And they also struggle in reaching students there. So we have talked with the admissions directors from those schools about doing some very targeted recruitment in those counties that are underserved. So we hope to be able to report a year from now increases in these numbers and believe that we will. We also recognize that when we look at this at a county level, there are some of those counties that are incredibly small, where many students are not in public education. I am pleased to report, however, as Ms. Evington pulled our data for the state accountability report, we received applications, albeit some in summer, some in high school, from all 46 Senate districts. And when you think that the Senate districts are much closer in size, that speaks to the reach of the admissions team. And so I'm very grateful for their work in making that happen. And that speaks positively to the future. Our application is live and actually has been live since early August. So it is on our website. It was publicly launched last week. We, again, appreciate Ms. Vandiver's team's help in getting that out there. Our admissions team has hit the road already. In addition to Endless Opportunities, they are doing school visits as we speak. We are thrilled to already have, even with it having just publicly launched at the end of last week, we already have 88 applications. That's huge. They're from 20 different counties. Unfortunately, 74 of them are female, to Dr. Adderley's point. So we are continuing to work on that gender distribution.
Yeah, but boys never do anything.
They're a little.
Right. The boys may apply, they'll just apply later. So we know.
Right.
62 of those are already for the high school programs. So that's a great thing to see that progress already occurring, to see that folks know us and they are applying. This banner is live on our website. Again, please help us spread the word. I do want to recognize two particular members of our admissions team, Mary Evington, who is our Assistant Director of Admissions, and John Broom, who is the Program Assistant in that office. Both have been instrumental in the year with not having a director. Ms. Evington has been instrumental in stepping up in a leadership role. Mr. Broom has worked diligently to support activities and events. Both, we could not have done it without both, so it is important to recognize them at this point. We are thrilled that we have a new upstate recruiter who has joined us. Ms. Chestnut, Destiny Chestnut, has joined us actually 4 weeks ago now. She is hitting the road already. She knows the Greenville area. She is a graduate of SC State, so she knows South Carolina, and so we're glad to have her on board. And we have a new regional recruiter who will be based in the Low Country, just outside of Charleston, who has been hired. Thank you, Ms. Doctor. We are very grateful to have her coming on board in another week, because that has been an important piece, so that we have someone in that area, and that has two real benefits for us. First is just practical. It cuts down on travel time and expense when you have someone who is already in the area. But much more importantly, you have someone who knows that area. She has previously recruited in the Low Country area for one of our state colleges. So she knows that area, knows the market, and so that we think will be a real boon to our admissions team. Now, as I promised, I did want to yield a little bit of my time. I want to introduce, many of you had a chance to meet him before the meeting. Kip Altman is our new Director of Admissions. Kip's been with us 4 whole weeks, but has hit the ground running. I appreciate not only his knowledge of South Carolina, he is a South Carolina native from Williamsburg County, but also his passion for ensuring that students know about the school, know about who we are, what we do, and really diving into the data that supports that work. So as he shared with a few of you, he comes to us most recently from Limestone University, and we mourn their demise, but we are benefiting from that in Kip's presence with us, but also has a background in K-12 education, including here in Greenville County, as well as educational consulting. And so very grateful to have Kip, and I'm going to invite him to share a bit about himself. And then happy to answer any questions you may have. Sorry, as we have to dance through here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can hear South Carolina in my voice. Born in Georgetown, raised in the little town of Hemingway. You may have heard of Scott's Barbecue down in Hemingway. One of the things that we're known for. But education has opened so many doors for me. And I think back on people I went to school with, and if they had had this opportunity, or they had had the opportunity for the School for Science and Math and the School for Agriculture, where they may be today. And I consider this a sacred trust to share the gospel of the governor's schools and to get out there and to let people know, because It amazes me sometimes the people who just don't know that we're here, and they don't know what we do, or they assume that we're a private entity, and we're not. We're here for every student. Yeah, I was talking with Ms. Cathcart before you. She met her husband because of the governor's school. I mean, yeah, these are things like that, you know. Graduate of Francis Marion, graduate of USC Upstate, graduate of Furman. All those doors were open to me because of education. Education allowed me to then go teach other people and make great connections there. You know, I have 2,500 friends on Facebook, not bragging, but most of them are former students of mine from when I taught in Greenville County schools. And I get to see what they've done and what they're doing now, and know that I played a small part in that. And to be able to be in this role and continue to do that, to recruit students to come here, to open doors for them, to lay out pathways so that they can go further than anybody in their family's ever gone before. Boy, I just quoted Star Trek. But, you know, I'm excited to be here. My door's always open. You have my email, you have my phone number, any suggestions you have to help us be more efficient, more effective, and to represent more fully the Governor's School for the Arts and Humanities, please let me know. And thank you very much for letting me be here.
So Kip, when you were teaching, what did you teach?
I was a social studies teacher. First question was asked, are you certified? Second question was, what can you coach? But I started at Southside High School here in Greenville. Then I taught at Blue Ridge Middle for a number of years. Then I was the International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program Coordinator at Travelers Rest High School and Northwest Middle School. After that, I went into educational consulting with a consultant group out of Boone, North Carolina called Learning Focused. They're actually in Asheville now. But with that, I was with them for about 11 years, got to travel all over the country and meet teachers in you know, Washington State and Oregon and Indiana and Tennessee, upstate New York, Florida, Texas, all over. And one thing I figured out, we eat foods that are a little different, we speak a little differently, but we all love our children and we all want them to be successful. So that, you know, we got bought out. I got made redundant, as the English like to say. And, you know, that's how I went to Limestone. I actually started here in Greenville. Eventually moved up into administration there, and commuted from Taylor's to Gaffney for 6 years every day, right during the middle of the Interstate 35 renovation, so that was quite fun. But you know, as things worked out at Limestone, you know, I honestly say I probably applied for 500 different jobs. You know, that's so easy to do that now with it being online. But I saw this position on the state website, and I started looking at it, and I thought, man, you know, a lot of this is in my wheelhouse, and a lot of this, you know, I can use what I've learned over the years to hopefully help grow and strengthen the Governor's School. And, you know, when I got a phone call from Miss Doctor, you know, and Dr. Burns about first interviews, and then coming, you know, for the half-day interview, and then when I got the phone call, you know, she said, you're our preferred candidate, and even better when I got the phone call that said the state said yes. So literally tomorrow I will have been here 1 month. So.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you. I know Dr. Burns is appreciative of the help.
I'll get out the way and let y'all ask Dr. Burns questions.
Any questions?
Any questions for Dr. Burns? We're gonna let him off easy today.
All right.
All right, thank
Just
you.
wait till next time.
Thank you, Dr. Burns, and Dr. Thomas. Welcome. I know we're running a little long. Do anyone want to take a quick break, or we'll keep going? All right, we'll keep going for now.
Get around so she can get around.
Gonna have to
Like I
put
say,
casters on the
we're
bottoms of the
dancing.
chairs, and then we can just, you know.
I looked up while after Dr. Adderley made his presentation, the Winston Wingo exhibition is in the gallery through October 2nd. And the Winston Wingo's talk is on October 1st, and we flipped this time rather than an artist talk as it opens. We're actually doing that on the evening. That's a Thursday evening, October 1st at 4:30. So if you're interested and available, Winston Wingo's artist talk in the gallery is at 4:30 on the 2nd. I'm happy to add my excitement about the start of school to everyone else's. I'm such a nerd about the school year. It's my favorite season. I love back to school everything, so I annoy everybody around me with my enthusiasm. But the highlight in the report that we celebrated this summer and in our very early back to school opening days was our AP scores from last year. 90% is the 2025 pass rate. That means students who took, as you can see there, we had 159 students take 267 exams, and 143 of those students made a 3 or better, which is the college credit threshold for an advanced placement exam in a course. And you see the 5-year data. This is a high point outlier, super cause for celebration as the students and their teachers worked so hard. And as I put in the report and as we celebrated in person, this is also a testament to kind of the school-wide preparation of students, the ability of these art students to focus in this high-level academic manner, the academic excellence that is in our mission right behind pre-professional arts instruction. So I really do want us to celebrate, advertise, really make this known. The scores percentages across all 5 years that you're looking at are significantly higher than state and national averages. But this is to have 90%, and some students, classes, the entire class passed, so the teacher had 100% pass rate. I will give you all of those details in December. Harriet, I'm sorry it's not today, because you and I are so excited about this, but in December we do a deep dive in lots of student data, so I will show you and give you access to lots of other information about where that came from. But it's a team effort with facilities who sets up and takes down the rooms for these exams, for IT, who works so closely with the Office of School Counseling on the digital testing, because with most of these exams at this point are digital in format, so students are taking these exams on their iPads. But then we also have like the president's assistant doing a sight singing test for the music theory exam, so it really becomes kind of a campus-wide focus for these 2 weeks of these really high stakes college level.
Dr. Thomas.
Yes, ma'am.
Just one comment. Having been an AP teacher at one point, these teachers obviously are very well prepared to teach the necessary content. And you make a point of saying some of those tests are in arts areas and not all in traditional academic areas. So and to make this kind of increase in 1 year is remarkable.
It's really
huge
remarkable.
increase.
And our art history teacher, Jordan Dantzler, last year was her first year on our faculty teaching art history. And her exam is one of the ones that's, at the top of the chart. So we do support for teachers in terms of advanced placement institutes, college board institutes, and workshops. Anybody who's teaching an AP class for the first time, we send them either for a week in the summer or for a day in the fall to do some really intensive training and preparation, and really try to support, but they work so hard at it. They just dig into those, So we're super excited about it. Our summer reading this year was a really exciting day, not only because Irv Willing came to join us, but this was the year that we all read the same book. This year, all students, rather than having a summer reading list, all students read Your Brain on Art, How the Arts Transform Us. That is Kim Wilson, looking so happy. One of the reasons Kim Wilson, she's the executive director of the Arts and Basic Curriculum Institute out of Winthrop. So as you know, we're an ABC school. Kim came to campus to participate in the day. The ABC Network gave 2 copies of this text to all of the ABC schools around the state last year. So Kim spoke to the students in the gym. I also had that same picture loaded up. Thank goodness I didn't use it. Because y'all think
we get it, it's done.
So Jim fixated. But Kim Wilson spoke in that beautiful gym to those happy students about why the ABC Institute exists to spread arts education opportunities for students throughout the state of South Carolina. Their mission aligns with ours 150%, and why this kind of neuroscience approach with data about what happens in the brain when someone is doing creative work or watching creative work, it's as impactful on an audience member as it is for the performer, is a really new way to think about the value of the arts, how to advocate for them, and kind of the role that they play.
I'd love to say something about that book. It so happened that I read it when it first came out a couple of years or so ago. And we all love the arts by the fact that we're here. This book helps explain why you feel and and to help you be able to articulate it, because when you get asked these questions, you probably fumble around with the answer just like I have. And so it's a great book to read, so.
Great. And both Mr. Welling and Ms. Wilson joined discussion groups throughout the morning, spent the whole day, so it was really great. And you all are all invited at any point to also participate in this school-wide summer reading. But this was a real standout for those reasons. The senior class, you see some in my written report about the class of 2026. I would add to Dr. Burns' excitement about Family Weekend and College Fair that we are moving forward with some really exciting preparations. We have, at the activities fair, we had a college preparation club, of all things, led by students, a music student and a creative writing student, 2 seniors, who have teamed up with a faculty member, Ms. Steyer, in the math department to organize regular college preparation activities for students, by students, and in partnership with the Office of School Counseling. So today at 11:30, our program assistant, Addie Valenti, is showing the College Prep Club how to get into test preparation materials. They're excited about this. They have an SAT on Saturday. So we are really excited about building programming. On Sunday afternoon, I'm doing a college essay workshop. So, yes.
We were
But it's
It's
so
good.
important, you have.
We all remember that excitement
Right.
over the SAT.
First
Yeah.
generation to apply.
We do, and I tell you, the things, if we tried to organize a session today at 11:30, come to the Office of School Counseling and we'll help you sign in to Schmoop and do your test practice for you would hear the crickets chirping, but there will be 50 students there because the students are organizing and generating something they know they need to work on. So for College and Family Weekend, we have 50-something colleges, 90-something reps, because many college programs send more than one representative. We have to limit the number of tables because they are so eager to get to meet our students. We're working on really streamlining the flow of the Saturday events so that students at all grade levels, all students are required to attend the college fair portion of our Family Weekend so that families see the flow of how that day can really benefit them. As you might recall, our College Fair 2024 had to be canceled because of Hurricane Helene. Family Weekend had to be canceled because of Hurricane Helene. So we keep reminding ourselves that this population of students, these 2-year students, have never had Family Weekend College Fair. So we're kind of reminding them, educating them, like what this is and why it matters, and we're super excited about it. Another summer update is just the energy on the campus and at the Fine Arts Center here locally for the Art Schools Network Summer Leadership Retreat. This was hosted for one day at the Fine Arts Center and for another day at the Governor's School. This is in preparation for our partnership with the FAC hosting the National Conference of the Art Schools Network here in Greenville in October of 27. So that's the leadership retreat was sort of a chance for board members from the ASN to be in Greenville, see both schools, see the town. They were blown away, of course, by the city of Greenville. There was that kind of, you've experienced it, the kind of surprise. People are like, oh,
That Greenville.
South Carolina, yeah, South Carolina. I just wanted to share a few of the schools that were here. It was truly a national gathering. We had an arts coordinator from Orange County, California, someone from the United Utah Arts Academy, Milwaukee Public Schools, the Perpich Center, also in Minnesota, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, Alabama School of Fine Arts, the Denver School of the Arts, the arts coordinator from DeKalb County, just down in Georgia, in that kind of large school district near Atlanta, Chicago Academy, the Frederick Douglass High School in Baltimore. So it was really beautiful opportunity to network with, and now we're colleagues with these arts leaders, teachers, administrators. Matthew Burns and the Popat from Fine Arts Center led a workshop discussion over lunch about admissions and recruiting. And that's certainly, you know, something that's nationwide, whatever your demographic and whatever your challenge, there was lots of common ground around that. So this feels like a really important and strategic partnership for the school to be part of this kind of national network of sister and brother schools. And then I'm quickly going to just walk you through that. The bulk of my written report to you was to update you on where the school has been focusing on our sort of response to the role of artificial intelligence in academic and creative work. So in April of last year, we had a really great day with faculty, and the IT department joined that session, where we emphasized the innovative goal that's part of our strategic arts plan. We looked at our school honor code, which very much covers the integrity piece of the concerns about AI generated work. So we reviewed that together. We looked at lots of best practices. I shared this one with you all from the National Art Education Association because it really comes, several of the things we looked at were from higher ed and but this one really comes straight out of an arts, national arts organization, and sort of the language of how we see our goal of the potential of AI as a resource that does have lots of challenges, but that really can kind of help us teach our students in an innovative way in the 21st century to use this as a tool and not overshadow. I love the NAEA final image language about not overshadowing traditional art forms, individual expression, and human creative art. So this was really supportive. I highlighted some sections from a longer statement from that same organization. And we're really just working hard to understand ourselves and bring students into the conversation with us about responsible and ethical use, how we foster creativity and innovation, and have a really balanced approach to harnessing these benefits. We would be foolish, we believe, in the current world not to teach our students how to use this wheel. We can't prohibit it. We would be really not preparing them. We would not be meeting our job as educators. And this is the terrible clip art calculator, which I got a lot of grief for, which is just I think it's a lovely metaphor. Consider the calculator, that you don't use a calculator when you're learning basic mathematical functions, how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, when you're just learning math. But if you try to do calculus without a calculator, you can't. You're crazy to do it. So AI is a similar kind of tool. Mm-hmm. We don't want to bring it in too soon so someone doesn't learn the things that we're here to teach in terms of the foundations of the work that they're doing, the thing that they make. But we do understand that there is a place in an advanced level of your proficiency with any skill that you should use all the tools available to you.
Well, you don't have hand-drawn animation anymore either. It's all done by computer. It's that same iteration.
However, our animation teacher is here, and I know
that's right. Of course.
Challenge him.
We really do begin with drawing. Which is fundamental. Yeah. All right, and so our students don't really just do they. Zach, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So yeah, I think fundamentals, but a popular thing in AI that's going around meme-wise right now is using Miyazaki's work, the Studio Ghibli's work, as a stylistic format for a lot of different memes that people are creating with it. And I think when you look at AI, it's a good tool to leverage, but it's never going to have the context that human has.
Right.
So if you ask AI to write a
it's
poem,
good for the production and the iteration.
Yes, yes. So it's a force multiplier, right? It's going to give certain things a boost in speed and whatnot. But if you take the artist out of the art and then ask it to make some sort of poem or something like that about the deliciousness of the strawberry, it doesn't have context for that human experience.
No, it will always require humans. It was top of mind because I just read, there's a speaking of good books, the founder of Khan Academy just published a book, Brave New Words, and it's about how Khan Academy has taken AI and incorporated it and is really using it in a positive way to tutor and teach kids in a fashion rather than giving them the answer, but for students, not kids. But
that's great. That's awesome. And one development since my written report is that we're working with the virtual SC professional development office to set up a cohort. We have 4 administrators and 6 teachers who will be taking this professional development course, Introduction to AI for Teachers and Introduction to AI for Administrators. The administrators level isn't just vice presidents. This we kind of invited anyone who's a manager. It's more operational in focus, and members of the President's Council were invited to join that cohort. So we get a slightly reduced rate because of the cohort, but we're all registered. Our classes begin on September 22nd, so wish us well. But that seemed like a really timely, and this was just kind of more from our overall AI instructional focus. So that's the end of my presentation. Happy to.
Questions for Dr. Thomas? Very good, exciting stuff. Those AP scores are really,
It's really great.
impressive.
Yeah,
That
it's
big
really
of a
great.
jump.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. Okay, foundation report. Amanda, I guess you're starting off?
No, I think I'll.
Okay. Everybody's just getting to their places. I'm sorry. Okay, thanks.
That's okay. That's okay. We could go up there together, but it might be too much.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Just a couple of quick comments. Since the last time we've attended this board meeting, we had our foundation board meeting in June. So we've closed our books as of June 30th, and they are under audit right now from our external auditors, Green and Finney. Do I have that?
Green, Finney.
Okay. And so we'll have the audited financials later for our board. But I will tell you that we did approve our budget for FY26 also in June, and we considered the income that we received from the gala in April. And we have allocated gala income to key school priorities. So Ms. Beam mentioned that we did increase our support of student meal plans with some of the gala income. We increased our support of department priorities, and we have given support for a priority collaborative project. More to come. So anyway, our board meeting's tomorrow, so I'll have an update from our September meeting later for you guys. But I want to turn it over to Amanda because the foundation has been extremely busy, continuing our, from the, I think from the push we got from the gala into new events this year. So Amanda, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Fane. Yes, we've been very busy. Formulating and reimagining an event that was popular here about 7 or 8 years ago. You may have received invitations in the mail. A couple of you have said you already did for Songwriters in the Round in Beaufort County. That'll be on October 23rd. If you haven't received your invitation, let me know. The last time I checked, we have about $35,000 already committed to Songwriters in the Round, and the invitations went out last week. So we are well on our way to getting to our goal, and this is the last hurrah, if you will, for the Beaufort County Advisory Committee. So I think they're really trying to go big this year. So I'm really excited. We'd love to have you all there. We've changed venues since last year, which I think is going to actually be a cost savings. Even though we have to pay for venue space now, we are saving a ton of money on other things. We've had to outfit an entire airplane hangar before. So the cost of rentals and lighting and heating and everything had to be brought in is going down significantly. We're really excited for that event. And then we're bringing back Songwriters in the Round from several years ago to Greenville. We have a goal of about $75,000. And right now we have secured a host in the Greenville Drive. We're going to host it not in the middle of the field. It's going to be a very intimate event still in a smaller area. There's going to be an art auction component to raise more revenue. We have a lodging partner already confirmed. We're working on a presenting sponsor. We're very close to securing that amount of money. And then we also have some additional support, some in-kind support for another venue. We're thinking of doing a VIP pre-show type event. So we're working on that, so more information to come, but we are well on our way to a very successful event this year.
Do you have the date set for that one as well?
Yeah, March 26th, thank you for asking. Yes, and we will send invitations for the other one, and you may have received an invitation, an insert for both events in the invitations going out to all of you, just to be on the lookout and see which event you'd rather come to, or both. We're happy to do that too. We've had a lot of early success this year, not just with our events, but we secured a really large grant from the John I. Smith Charities. They were actually one of the first founding donors of the foundation and the school. So we're very happy to have rekindled that relationship with them this year. They gave their support for meal plans, so a very significant amount of money. So to exactly what Betsy was talking about earlier, it's not always the sexiest ask, but it is very, very important, and we're very happy to have their support. And we also received a very nice grant from the Hilliard Family Foundation for the Call Me Mister initiative that Dr. Adderley was speaking about before. So we're really, really excited for those two things. We are engaging a PR and marketing firm to help the foundation raise awareness, increase our visibility, and increase the money that we are able to support the school with. So we're really excited for that collaboration to start. We are also sharing our FY25 annual report. It is being printed as we speak. We're really, really excited about this. It's highlighting the success of the gala, the new film department, and just really sharing some more impactful stories that we've gathered through the 25th anniversary year. It is a totally new look from any other annual report we've ever produced. We're really, really excited for it. It's very bright and very bold. So I'm excited for you all to receive that, and many of you may be featured in there. There's some beautiful pictures and some quotes from some of you, so thank you for lending us your stories and your voices and support. We have president's briefings this year. If there's anyone in your circles, your networks that you think would be interested, please let me know. And then we are laying the groundwork for a legacy giving initiative to recognize donors who have left the foundation and their estate plans. We are actually talking, we've spoken with someone on the board, I won't mention their name right now, but about helping us be the founding member of that society, and just recognizing the work that we're doing and the support that people give now and just in their futures. And then I included a really interesting chart at the end of my report, just to share a little bit of our support by region. You all talk about the admissions and where everyone's coming from for the school here, and how many counties we've reached, which is great, and we're sort of doing the same thing on our end to see where we can continue to embed in other counties and other areas of the state. So most of our support comes from the upstate, which is no surprise at all, and then we have a good group of people from the low country, which again is not a surprise. But there's a lot of other regions of our state where we need assistance. In fact, tomorrow our board is working to find some other areas of the state which we should work on and how to get support from them. So from those brilliant ideas, I may tap some of you to help me additionally in the areas in which you live. So that's all I have for now. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Yes.
Any questions for Thane or Amanda? Thank you very much. All right.
I think I can do it.
Thanks.
So we'll move on to the faculty council report. Zach Inks is both human and here in person, referring back to our earlier conversation. So.
Hang on, let me stand up.
Yeah,
it's easier.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Maybe. Sorry, guys. All right.
Thank you for figuring that out. We get there.
So thank you guys. I really appreciate the time to speak with y'all. Beginning of the year, as always, faculty's figuring stuff out, jumping straight into things, looking at different policies, procedures as they've come down the pipe from the state level, also locally, having discussions around that. We're also looking at structural changes internally. Obviously, Kip joining us is a nice new addition that adds to the conversation. So we're looking at how faculty and admissions work together to further that sort of initiative. Dr. Adderley came in and talked to the faculty about their open office hours and discussion times. We also had, I don't have it on here, but just to highlight later on, we also had open sessions with admissions and summer programs to talk about faculty thoughts on what in the game industry we call postmortem. So like after everything has been wrapped up, kind of reassessing where we're at and where we're maybe going in the future. When we looked at some of the other initiatives, Dr. Thomas already highlighted artificial intelligence discussions. We also had some moments talking about e-learning plans going forward in the future and how that's going to affect things. And also, I would, as a personal note, I thought it was really effective and really important, and it's also mandatory going forward. Accessibility training. We had some accessibility training that I think went really well. I come from a background where accessibility is kind of a big thing, UI, UX development and whatnot. And so I thought that was a personal highlight of our professional development time. Furthermore, we discussed the different Educator Assistant Acts and how that's sort of changing some of how we operate as faculty across the state. And we talked a little bit about our ongoing relationship with Staff Council and how we all can kind of come together to reflect on what has come in the past and where we're going to coordinate in the future, not just for things that are like, you know, getting together to have, you know, some food and drinks and discuss, but also how we reinforce each other. I'm a big advocate for the fact that my job is completely supported by the efforts of staff. There's probably 100 people behind everything I do every single day. And so from a faculty perspective, I like to highlight, and I think overall as the council likes to highlight, the contributions of the staff and then further figure out like where can we have that copacetic relationship. And then, yeah, continued relationship with the board. So it's pretty, getting the year started at this point and having those discussions. So open it up for any questions at this point.
Great. Any questions regarding faculty council? Glad the year's off to a good start. All right. Thank you very much. And staff council, Marvin Daniels is here to bring us up to date. We'll do the shuffle one more time. We're going to put all this on casters and just roll everybody around.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here and speak on behalf of the Staff Council. Starting out meeting attendance, we are still averaging about 25 to 30 members of the staff at all of our meetings. We would like to see that increase because that's still about less than half of the number of staff members that we have. So we are working on that, looking at the departments that are underrepresented and actually reaching out to those departments directly. Professional development, a survey was taken at the beginning of the school year during Professional Development Week, asking the staff what agenda, what topics they would like to see and what they would like to discuss going forward in the school year. And what was mostly suggested was professional development, communication, and more employee events. So that was our foundation as far as how we will move forward with our meeting agendas. But we also always ask for feedback and suggestions for the agendas for every meeting monthly. Professional development also, this is very personal for me. In recognition of employee achievements, I would like to congratulate LaTanya Doctor, my boss and mentor, HR director, for completing the MBA program.
Congratulations.
Yes. I feel like we actually completed it together. Okay, in terms of engagement, staff council officers, I would like to echo what Zach Inc. said as far as our efforts to work with the faculty council. We've already met, we've had a few meetings several times. Again, not only just for events, but also collaborating with the suggestions that were made as far as professional development, communication, and employee events. In addition to that, working with them collaboratively, working with leadership team who is so supportive, very supportive, but we're very appreciative of their support. So we will be working with the faculty council on those topics as well. And we do have events that are in the planning stages already, which is the Fall Festival and the Winter Social and you're all invited if you like to come. That's all I have today. We're just starting the school year, so are there any questions for me?
Any
When do y'all
questions?
meet?
We meet, actually, we meet today.
Today.
Yeah. Yes, we meet monthly, the second Wednesday of every month.
Like after school, what hours?
2 p.m. Our meeting is at
Just
2,
wondering.
faculty
I just
council.
think that's interesting.
Yeah, they meet in the morning, so we meet at 2 p.m.
There was a question in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, yeah. And Della had a question, she's joining us on Teams
Does the
here.
staff
Let's-
council chair and faculty council chair attend each other's meetings, or do the chairs meet separately?
Okay.
From time to time, we do cross over and attend each other's meetings. If there's something specific that we would like to address with that council, then we will attend the meeting, but it's not a regular practice, no.
And they have had a few joint, I know I spoke to a joint meeting, it's been a few years, but yeah. That's probably a good thing, they haven't had a joint meeting lately, but. Anything else for staff council? All right, great, thank you. So before we get to executive session, we've just got a couple of quick things we need to talk about. One is the strategic plan, and we put it out to bid. We've had to, of course, we're coming to the end of the current plan, which ended with this, culminated in 2025 and the 25th anniversary. So it's time to look at that, both formally and because it's a good idea to talk about where we go from here. We had to rebid it. I'll let Ms. Beam just update you quickly on why we had to rebid it, but.
Okay, basically, we did receive 3 qualified bids, absolutely qualified. After the bids came in, there was some discussion with the committee that wouldn't it be nice, wouldn't it be helpful if we could interview them? That was not how the original scope was put in. So when it's an RFP with the state, you literally have to start all over and put that as part of the scope. So the suggestion I would make, quite frankly, after talking to both procurement and I brought the book in case anybody has any questions, literally is to redo the bid. There's we would notify the 3 vendors that sent in the bid that they were qualified. We'd love for them to rebid, just completely resubmit. But it allows 2 things. It allows the board to add as a part of the scope that they would like a demonstration or presentation. So the top 3, however many applications or proposals that we get, the top 3 would be ranked by the committee and then be able to do a demonstration presentation. And then there was a suggestion or even a thought that maybe we should add benchmarking as well. So that could be added to the scope as well. So that process would then basically just need to start all over with a whole new request for proposal. It would be posted for 10 days. And then however many proposals came in, the committee would be able to rank the top 3.
And there also was the request that they provide some sample plans for other public entities that they, could provide. So we thought that would give us a lot more information, or the committee did. So do we need a vote on that to put it back out to bid, or do you need any form? Okay. Any discussion or questions on that? Are we all?
So what does that do to our timeline?
Yeah.
It would, I'm not allowed to be the procurement officer, the state has to be. So I talked to her yesterday, she said she could get it out as soon as Friday. It has to be posted for 10 days. And then once it's opened, however soon they can, then the committee can meet, rank, hopefully do any sort of presentation within a week of that. So I would think it would postpone everything about 30 days.
30, 45 days at most. I don't think it would impact our, schedule for getting the plan done. Fane?
Have we formed the committee yet?
We did, so
Okay.
at the last meeting, we
I
did
remember we
ask
asked
for volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, Della was on that.
Okay.
Irv, Carly, I think were you in that? Andrew, yeah.
And could we, I think that might be a good thing for Amanda if she wanted to volunteer for it.
Yeah, if you want to volunteer, if you'd like to volunteer her for that, yeah.
Sure.
Well,
just to represent, you know, the foundation, because we did
Yeah.
our strategic plan
Yeah.
2 years ago. So
Yeah.
we wanted to stay aligned, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we are being recorded, but I want to make very, very clear that she can certainly be on, but would have to be non-voting since she's
Fine.
not a board
Oh,
member.
yeah.
So,
Right.
'cause I didn't want any
Yeah,
misunderstanding.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
It's more
right.
for us
Yes,
to
absolutely.
answer any questions you might have about our strategic plan that's already in place, and then make sure that we continue to be aligned with the school as we need to be.
Right. Exactly.
I have a question. Can you hear me or just?
We can hear you now. Yeah, and see you.
My question is, Ms. Bean, do we have to interview all three? If we pick the top three, or can we interview just one or two?
That would be dependent on how we write the scope. So the committee would just need to decide if they want to pick the top three, or if they want to, the suggestion was strongly suggested that you narrow it down to the top three. It has to be equal for everybody. So either you're narrowing it down to the top two, you would have to interview at least two, or up to three. And it could depend on how many you get, you know.
Yeah, if it could be written, maybe the top two up to three. 3 is pretty standard for that type of procurement. But
Okay, and I know there is the, are we still live? Must we then also pick them by their price point?
This scope would allow you to use qualifications, experience, as a part of the scoring process. The price point usually runs about 40% of that scoring.
so yeah, we basically, in the procurement, you set how much you score each of the elements, including pricing. So pricing does not have to be the primary element. It certainly is one factor. We only have so much budget, but when you're talking about professional services, for obvious reasons, there are other more important factors that you need to look at. So
Yeah, thank you. If there's a great divide in prices, it makes it tough.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
It's not like buying a furnace or something where you go with lowest bid just because. Yeah. So
Okay, great, thank you.
great. Any other questions on that? All right. Good. So Betsy, you're good with. All right. Great. Is there anything we need? I mentioned the streaming recording up front. Do we need to approve we need to approve the new policy, which is in the book. So we had to update our policy regarding the streaming and recording of meetings to be consistent with the new state regulations. So you have that in your packet. Is there a motion to approve that policy? All right, Mr. Sleevey, yep. Dr. Jaworski seconded that. And if you need a second to look at it, any questions on that, on the policy? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, great. That carries. One quick question, just sort of a general survey question. Staff had asked if we would find it more useful to have the documents for the meetings on an iPad versus these 3-ring binders. So a lot of state boards use them. Is that, I see some heads saying, yes, you'd rather, would it be easier? Our thought was we could have the iPads here for the meeting. I told Dr. Adley, most of us don't want to have to keep up with state property and take it and bring it back. Because other boards, they do that. But if we had them here in the meeting, would you find that is there anybody who's loves the paper notebook, the 3-ring binder, that wants to keep it? Okay. Well, we could experiment. We could, all right. We'll let you all coordinate that.
Thank you.
Maybe at the next meeting, you'll see a little iPad at your
You will.
at your position. All right. That's All right, so we have one last item, which is the president's annual review. Obviously, we do this every year. We will go into executive session. I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to SC Code 3470A1, which allows for discussion of a personnel matter, in this case, president's evaluation. Is there a motion to go into executive session? I have a motion. All right, Ms. Lee. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All right, yep, Ms. Cathcart seconded. Any questions or discussions on executive session?
Procedurally, do we need to include in the motion that we can return at your call?
So what we will do is we will vote on the motion to go into executive session. We will go into executive session, and then we will come back into public session and vote to come out of executive session and report. And then we'll have a vote to adjourn and any other motions. So what we will do is I'll take this vote to go into executive session. As they are pausing the cameras and doing that, we can take a quick break and then let's all come back in here. So all those in favor of the motion to go into executive session, say aye. Anyone opposed, nay. All right, we'll shuffle around and do that. good? All right, great. Do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
I'll make a
I have a
motion.
motion from
I'll
Ms.
second.
Lee and from Ms. McDaniel as a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. So we're back in public session. We went into executive session under section 40 or 3470 of South Carolina Code to just have an evaluation of President Adderley. No votes were taken, no actions taken in executive session. Dr. Adderley, we certainly appreciate your continued service to the school, all that you've done for us, and I don't think we have anything else for this meeting. If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion to adjourn from Dr. Jaworski, and a second.
Second.
Ms. Lee seconds the motion. All those in favor say aye. Anybody
Aye.
opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned, and we're going to join everyone for lunch behind us.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
President.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Della. Appreciate you hanging in there till the end.
Thank you. My board meeting started at 2:00.